A man walks into a Taco Bell and steals a painting that's nailed to the wall. He cuts the chain holding it up with a pair of bolt cutters, takes the piece, and walks out without paying for it. But here's the thing. This man just successfully pulled off an art heist worth $2,400. Yep, that's right. $2,400. And if you think that sounds ridiculous, then prepare yourself, because since 2010, at least 7 people have been arrested for stealing $95 million worth of Taco Bell artwork, all of which were only valued at $10 each. That's right. There's a black market for fast food art, and some folks are willing to pay up to $30,000 per piece. Welcome back. I'm here. And today we re-talking about how one fast food chain has become one of the most artfully robbed chains in the world. Now let me start this story off by saying that I love Taco Bell. Sure, their menu is pretty much one big ball of sodium, but every time I eat there, I feel like I'm experiencing a genuine Mexican cultural exchange. In fact, when I was younger, I really wanted to work at Taco Bell because the uniform looked like something a real luchador would wear. So put together, what you get is a genuinely passionate Taco Bell loving guy who had no idea that the company he so admires has a history of being robbed from its walls. If you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear this. At least 7 people have been arrested for stealing these paintings, and none of them were ever caught before committing the crime. It's like they all just got together, planned this operation, and then went out and did it knowing full well that there was a good chance they would get caught. To be fair, it's not hard to see why. In order to steal this art, all you need is a pair of bolt cutters and about 5 minutes, and I'll tell you that, not even kidding. So after researching where to buy both of those things, I walked into a Home Depot, bought them both, and then went straight to the nearest Taco Bell to try and commit the crime myself. I walked in, looked around for a painting that I liked, went to the bathroom, grabbed some bolt cutters, cut the chain, grabbed the painting, and tried to walk out without paying for it. I was immediately confronted by the manager, who called the cops, and in less than 5 minutes, I was sitting in a police car getting fingerprinted. Long story short, I didn't get away with it, but not because it was difficult or dangerous. It's actually insanely easy, and here's the weirdest part. When I asked the employees at the Taco Bell if they knew how much the artwork was worth, they didn't know, and they didn't care. All they cared about was getting a couple extra bucks. And that seems to be the general attitude of Taco Bell employees. When it comes to their artwork, most of them seem to see the paintings as nothing more than gaudy pieces of meaningless decor. And given that management doesn't seem to care about the artwork either, many employees don't hesitate to sell it to anybody who asks. And that's where our first art thief comes in. We don't know much about him, except that he started the trend in 2010 when he strolled into a Taco Bell in Newport News, Virginia, grabbed a painting, and left without paying for it. But it wasn't long before he was joined by others who had the same idea. And in most cases, the paintings were insured, meaning the store owners were forced to foot the bill. In response, Taco Bell did 2 things. First, they installed plexiglass barriers in front of the paintings. This seemed to help at first, but thieves soon found out that the barriers were unbolted to the floor and could easily be removed. So Taco Bell ended up doing something even weirder, replacing the expensive paintings with cheaper ones that were attached with glue instead of nails. But here's the thing, as far as I can tell, the switch hasn't made much of a difference. There was even a news report about a dude who stole a Taco Bell painting in December of 2022, which means that either he stole the wrong painting or the Taco Bell had gotten around to switching it yet. Either way, this guy saw a painting in a Taco Bell, wanted it, took it, and that was that. His motive remains unknown, but it's safe to say that he was undoing it for the money, because selling a $10 painting for $30,000 is extremely difficult. In fact, out of all the people arrested for stealing Taco Bell art, only 1 person was charged with intent to sell. The rest were charged with theft, vandalism, criminal mischief, burglary, or in one case, possession of stolen property. If that sounds confusing, it's probably because it is. But the bottom line is that nobody knows exactly what the punishment is for stealing Taco Bell art. But it's almost never jail time. In fact, only 2 of the people who stole the artwork received any kind of prison sentence. One guy served 6 months for burglary, and another served 3 years for criminal mischief. The rest got probation and fines and eventually moved on with their lives, as though nothing had happened. Now, the reason for that seems obvious. Stealing a painting from a Taco Bell isn't exactly the same as robbing a bank, but it does raise an interesting question. How do people sell this stuff? I mean, if the paintings aren't valuable to Taco Bell, and they're not valuable to the employees, then who would want them, and why would they be worth so much? Well, it turns out that this is all down to supply and demand. For whatever reason, people want this art, and the only way to get it is to steal it. As a result, the demand is constantly outpacing the supply, meaning that the artwork is becoming increasingly valuable on the black market, and as the value goes up, so does the price. Today, a single Taco Bell painting can go for up to $30,000, which makes you wonder, is it even worth that much? And if not, then why do people keep buying it? Well, believe it or not, some people genuinely like the paintings. They may not be worth much to Taco Bell or to the employees, but that doesn't mean they're not worth something. To someone who likes them, they're worth whatever they're willing to pay. And apparently some people are willing to pay a lot. Then there are other people who buy the artwork as a joke, like the guy who bought the Popeye painting, or the guy who bought the Elvis painting. Maybe they just thought it was funny and didn't care about how much it cost. Or maybe they figured that it would be worth a lot someday and they were right. It's also possible that some people buy the paintings as an investment. After all, if the demand is consistently outpacing the supply, then it only makes sense that the prices will go up over time. So if you can get in on the ground floor now, you might be able to make a killing later. Or maybe you just like the paintings and you want to support artists. That last one is probably the least likely, but hey, stranger things have happened. So that's the Taco Bell Art Heist. Everything you never knew you wanted to know about one of the strangest crimes of the 21st century. Now if you're still hungry for knowledge, then I highly recommend checking out the series in the description. Each episode tackles a different aspect of human behavior and explains it through the lens of science. You'll learn why we dream, why we cry, why we laugh, why we sleep, why we love, and why we hate. Basically, it's the show that answers all the questions you've ever had about the human condition. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time.